Hello, this is our last video on Objective 4.2. We're still going to be using synthetic division, and in fact we're still going to be factoring. But you notice the difference here is that it does not say what one of the factors is. It just gives us this cubic polynomial. We don't know any of the factors, so this is how we have to start. You start by looking at the constant. So in this case, our constant is negative 24. And then what you do is you list every factor of that number, and that includes positive and negative. Like 1 and negative 1 are both factors of negative 24, because 1 multiplies and negative 1 multiplies to negative 24. So our plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 4, you do have to list all these. Not 5, 5 doesn't multiply to 24, but 6 does. So does 8, so does 12, and of course 24 itself multiplies to 24. Now, this seems like a lot, and it is, but here's what's going to happen. Of the 3 factors that we're going to find, because it's cubic, there's going to be 3 factors. Those 3 factors are in here somewhere. Now, I know it seems like there's a lot of options, but of the infinite numbers that exist, this is a pretty small list. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a guess and check synthetic division with these numbers until we find just one of the factors. It doesn't matter which one we find first. If we can find one, then we can find them all. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this up. I'm going to put 1, 5, negative 2, and negative 24. And remember, if something is a factor, its remainder is going to be 0. So we just need to find out which one of these is going to have a remainder of 0 when we do synthetic division. So I'm going to start with positive 1 just because it's first. And I'll do this in a different color. I recommend you do this in pencil because if we're wrong, we're going to erase what we just did and then go back and fix it. So I'll put a 1 out here. 1 comes down, this one comes down, of course. And then 1 times 1 is 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. 1 times 6 is 6. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. 1 times 4 is 4. And oh look, that is not going to be 0, right? Since it's not 0, that means 1 is not the number I'm looking for. So I'm just going to erase this. I'm hitting undo, you're going to erase. And I can cross off positive 1 as my option. So I'm just going to keep going up the list. Now I'm going to try negative 1. Bring down this 1. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Add these, you get 4. Multiply, you get negative 4. Add these, you get negative 6. Multiply, you get 6. And sure enough, this is not going to be 0 again, right? That's fine. That just means we got to erase, and we've crossed another option off the list. So now we know it's neither 1 nor negative 1. This might seem obnoxious, but trust me, you never have to do this too many times. Next one I'm going to try is 2. So we bring down the 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 plus 2 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Negative 2 plus 14 is 12. This looks nice. 2 times 12 is 24. And when you add these, you get 0. So we have now found one of the factors, and now there's nothing about this that we don't know how to do. We now know that x minus 2 is a factor. Remember, this is the opposite of what it was. And then we have x squared plus 7x plus 12, which is the leftover of our synthetic division. Now we can do this in our heads. What two numbers multiply to 12 and add to 7? Those numbers are 3 and 4. Which means that our answer is x minus 2, x plus 3, x plus 4. This is the same as the last type of problem, except we had to come up with this on our own first. You notice 3 and 4 are in here. Not a surprise, I said they would be. And you notice of all these options, we only had to do this 3 times, and as soon as we saw that something wasn't going to work, we stopped. So that is it. That actually wraps up this objective of dividing algebraic expressions using synthetic division. And in this particular case, we were factoring.